Hey guys, it's Cecilia from the AMoA Museum of Art, and for today's video we are going to be making some clay melted clocks inspired by Salvador Dali's painting The Persistence of Memory. For this project I'm going to be using terracotta clay, which needs to be fired in a kiln, but if you don't have access to that you can use air-dried clay or salt stone. So the supplies that we're going to be needing for this project are we're going to be needing our clay, we're going to be needing some various sculpting tools and a rolling pin, and it helps if you have a squirt bottle and a sponge to help keep your clay moist. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our clay and use a rolling pin to roll it out into a slab or a clay pancake. So we don't want this to be too thin to where it will break, but we want it to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. And then I'm going to be taking my needle tool to cut out the shape of my clock. If you don't have a needle tool, you could also use a pen or a skewer or something like that. So for this part, I'm going to zoom us in so that way we can take a closer look at the process. So I am using a paper plate to act as a template for my clock shape, and I'm cutting it out with my needle tool. And I'm going to save the excess clay and use that as the border for our clock. With that clay, I am just rolling it out into a long coil that is going to be able to wrap around the entire clock shape. Now that my coil is rolled out, we need to score and slip in order to attach it. So this means I am scoring the surface with my needle tool. I'm making lots of little dash marks that will rough up the surface of the clay, and I'm taking slip, which is just watered down clay, and I'm using that to act as a sort of glue to connect the two pieces of clay together. To make the clock hands, I just rolled out a small coil and I used my needle tool to cut out the shape of the hands. Anytime you attach a new piece of clay, you want to score and slip. So here I am scoring and slipping the clock hands. Now I'm just using my needle tool to mark out all the numbers on the clock, and I am draping it over a bowl to give it a melted shape. Here is a second clock that I am making, and I'm giving it a slightly different shape than the first one. It's going to be more of an oval shape than it will be round. I'm going through the same process to make this clock as I did the first one. I am scoring and slipping everything, and the only real difference is instead of just taking my needle tool to mark out the clock numbers, I am going to be sculpting the numbers with clay. So I'm just taking small amounts of clay and rolling them out into the correct shapes for each number, and I am scoring and slipping to make sure that they are securely attached. Once the numbers are finished and the clock hands are added, I am going to drape this over the table and press it up against a cardboard box to give it that melted shape. Now that the clay pieces are finished, I'm going to set these out to dry for at least 24 hours before I bake them in the kiln. This is what they look like after they have been fired in the kiln. And now I'm going to go in with my paint to add all of the decorations to the clock. I ended up doing around 3 coats for the white paint and 2 coats for the gold metallic paint. For the second clock, I painted the numbers and the border first, and then I went in and painted the background. I'm using a really small paintbrush to go in and paint around all of the numbers. Once I have outlined all of the numbers in paint, I'm taking a slightly bigger brush and filling in the entire background. Here is what both of the clocks look like up close. And here are both of the finished clocks. Thank you guys so much for watching this video series. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have. And if you decide to make your own versions of these clocks, I would love to see that. So make sure that you're tagging us at AMoA Museum of Art and using the hashtag AMoA at home. Thanks guys, bye.